Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Moviegoers Society. I'm Sean Tajipour, the Mayor of Nerdtropolis, and joined, as always, by my co-host Drew Munhausen, the professional media and movie mastermind himself. Hello, Drew. Welcome to Spooky Season. It's the final week of Spooky Season, right? Are you ready for it to be over?
No, yes and no. I had Fantastic Fest in late September, so I saw lots of horror and stuff there. So I feel like I probably did get it out of my system early, but I have not watched enough horror in October proper. But I also do like transitioning to the holiday season and the holiday movie season in particular and all that. So there's pros and cons.
I don't think I've indulged into spooky season as much as I usually do. It used to be my go-to holiday, but I feel like the month has gone by so fast. I've been so busy all over the place. I just don't know what to do. Not much free time, honestly. For those that don't know, I just came back from San Antonio, doing panel hosting at SpaceCon, and yeah, it's been an eventful weekend, an exciting weekend. Pinch me moment weekend for sure. I gotta do so many panels, Drew. I think 9 of them.
That's a lot. That's a lot to
It's a-
prepare for too.
It is, and you're never prepared. I will say, but the WandaVision panel with Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen was amazing. I mean, just to share the stage with these people is mind blowing. Giancarlo Esposito, that's the proper way to say his last name, Esposito, which I've struggled with. I'm gonna admit something. That's hard to say when you hear Esposito all the time. It's horrible, right?
That's what I say, Giancarlo Esposito.
It is not, but it's Esposito.
Esposito.
We got to start practicing this. We have to. George Takei, that was awesome. It's not Takai, it is Takei.
I knew that one.
Yes. I did Starship Troopers, so I had Casper Van Dien, Dina Meyer, and awesome Michael Ironside. Oh man, I am drawing blank. I did Wilson Bethel, who is Bullseye on Daredevil as well. I was like, I have to go through my pictures. I'm like, who else did I do? David Duchovny as well, which was awesome. That was one of them. I got to do a Fantastic Four First Steps panel with some of my Disney publicist people. It was awesome. They had a cool little activation there. You can take some photos and kind of be in the Baxter building and stuff like that. And amongst other, I'm going to start posting a bunch of stuff on my Instagram, on Nerdtropolis Instagram, and my personal one. So definitely check out that. I don't want to keep rambling on about SpaceCon, but it was super exciting. That's for sure. But today we are descending into Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, a haunting gothic masterpiece, decades in the making. I mentioned this before. I was in LA. Netflix brought me over to dive deep into Frankenstein, learn more about it. I followed this project for a while. I followed Guillermo del Toro's journey for a while. I mean, he's such a passionate filmmaker. Every project he selects, it's for a reason. And definitely this one was like his destiny was finally fulfilled. This was something he always wanted to do. And yeah, before we dive into it, Drew, what's your take on Frankenstein in general and everything we've got? And we're gonna keep getting more stuff kind of similar to it. We have The Bride coming out next year, which is an interesting take. But based on the original book, I personally think this is the ultimate version. Nothing else will ever surpass it. This is the most passionate take on it with a lot of additional creativity and just liberties on it and stuff like that, and kind of making it his own, but also delivering, I think, would make everyone proud of a really great Frankenstein film.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Universal monsters in general, but I feel like of those, I have a lot more exposure to like Dracula and things like that. Like Frankenstein, I guess, of the Universal monsters has just never really been my guy, or I should say Frankenstein's monster has never been my guy.
Right. And I would say this real quick. It's something we do in pop culture, something that's happens in this world that we call like the monster Frankenstein, right? And it's
been making the mistakes.
No, I make this all the time. Everyone does this. I just bring it up because it's a funny topic, because there was an interview about that, and Guillermo was super not problematic with, oh, Oscar Isaac was like, yes, Frankenstein is mean. It is not him, it's the creature. And it's just funny though how we just, when we think of Frankenstein, we think of the creature, and that's the name we kind of give him, right? That's just how vivid everyone's memory is, or just visuals of the Frankenstein monster, and you just give him that name. But that was my little rant right
And
there.
and Frankenstein's monster is so apparent not just in Frankenstein adaptations, but like in all kinds of horror adaptations. Like you have the Lurch in the Addams Family, and things like that. Like there's just so much that comes from. Heck, we just had Creature Commandos last year, where
Yeah.
Frankenstein's monster is a character and member of a superhero team. So,
Well, and I just did an interview for Stitchhead, which is this animated film, and it's kind of like a take on Frankenstein. Like Stitchhead is a creation of like a Frankenstein type person, and so it's everywhere. That type of storytelling and creatures and someone creating something is everywhere.
well, and you even look at the works of Guillermo del Toro, and his last movie was the animated Pinocchio movie, which is in itself kind of a Frankenstein story. You have
Which
a
he has
creator
admitted to that.
Yeah, so like, I've watched some interviews with Guillermo del Toro recently too, where he's just talked about like this has been the project that he's wanted. This is his life's work basically, and I think, not to get our head of ourselves, but like it shows on the
Yep.
screen and with what we got.
And the way he talks about it too. He said, during that press conference I was at, that I was able to ask a question to Oscar Isaac. He said reading Mary Shelley's novel at age 11 changed him forever. It became a kind of religion, as he put it. And his adaptations, everything you expect. A little fun thing, like they gave us, the Mary Shelley book, with like the new film cover on there.
Oh,
And
that's
then,
cool.
yeah, and then I had him sign inside up there. So I have a signed Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein book. I'll take it. And real quick, popcorn buckets, as you can probably, I don't know if you can, yeah, I'm kind of hiding some of them, but popcorn bucket craze. There is a Frankenstein popcorn bucket. I don't know how you get it. But Guillermo del Toro had it, and then I have it too, because they were giving it to us when we were at Netflix.
That's cool.
And this is a little popcorn bucket for the Frankenstein movie. So I got to just show that off a little bit, but part of that, I like this one a lot. That's pretty cool. Really, really creepy. That's for sure. But yeah, his adaptations, everything you'd expect. And I'm glad, Drew, that you got to see it in a theater. I got to see it at the Netflix to Doom theater, but it is coming to Netflix next month. But it is doing a limited, not as limited as you think. They're adding theaters nonstop, it seems like, but it's hitting theaters right now. It's your local theater should have it, something nearby, because Guillermo is on top of it, making sure everyone can catch it in theaters. But talk about where you saw it at.
Yeah, like I think a lot of the big chain theaters maybe are the ones that kind of hold back from it. Like I don't think AMC's are going to be showing it, but I do have some other smaller chains around me. I haven't looked into if Regal or Cinemark are going to be showing it, but it's funny, full disclosure, the last conversation Sean and I had about doing an episode, we had talked about doing the new Springsteen movie, right? What is it? Deliver Me from Nowhere. And that's what I had intended to see this weekend. And when I started to look up times, I saw some of my local theaters nearby were showing Frankenstein already in limited release. And I started thinking, and I was like, man, these Netflix movies don't always show in theaters. And when they do, it's usually for a pretty limited time. And if the new film by Guillermo del Toro, if I have the opportunity to see it in a theater, I feel like I should take advantage. And plus I wanted to see Frankenstein more anyway. Like that, it's me, like that's more my thing. So I did. So I went and saw it in a theater. And it was a Sunday evening screening. Pretty good crowd there for the screening I was at. And so it just makes me think like it's a whole nother conversation to talk about Netflix and their strategy. And I know that they're like pretty against theatrical releases in general, but they'll make some compromises when it comes to the talent involved.
Especially when they're doing Oscar pushes too, honestly. And it depends on the film, on the grand scale. And honestly, this is a film, looking at this shot here, that it needs to be seen on a grand scale. I mean, it's gonna be great watching it at home, comfort your couch and all that stuff. But I mean, the set designs, the attention to detail, the locations. It needs to be seen in a theater if you're able to. But yeah,
Well, not
just
to mention it's a 2.5 hour movie.
yeah,
And, if you're watching it on Netflix at home behind your phone, however you choose to watch Netflix, that's just not it's not going to do it justice. Um yeah, I'll say this. I'm really glad that I got to see this in the theater. Like
yeah.
I can't imagine now in hindsight just watching this on my TV at home.
Yeah, this one you can't because, like I said, the grand scale of it. Oscar Isaac as Victor Frankenstein, Jacob Elordi as the creature, the Mia Goth as Elizabeth, and more. Great cast in here as well. But Drew, knowing Del Toro's history with monsters, how do you think this Frankenstein kind of fits into his filmography? You think this is one of his strongest, kind of more? It is one of his most personal films. Um, if he didn't make another film after this film, I'm like, he's had a great already career, but he's not done, obviously. But does this feel like more like a Pan's Labyrinth style film or Crimson Peak? Like, where does this fit in his filmography, you think?
Yeah, it's probably somewhere between Crimson Peak and Shape of Water. Like I think it's a little bit more blockbustery than like The Shape of Water is. Um Probably also a little bit more, what's the right word, accessible maybe for a bigger audience, but still, like I do think that if this was playing in theaters, like if this got a traditional wide release, I think it would do really well. That's not going to happen, and you have to kind of seek it out, but I think this is going to do well on Netflix. I think that the reception that I've seen from the festivals that it's played and everything, I've seen reviews kind of all over the map.
Which makes no
Um,
sense because if there's, I hate to say this, there's a lot of films that maybe deserve some of the negativity score. But if anyone says this is any, like, imagine you're on Rotten Tomatoes. If I see anything rotten about this film, I'm like, how? It's a quality film, and maybe you're just having a bad day, or you just hate the Frankenstein story, or you don't like Guillermo del Toro. That's the only reason. But this is actually overall a fantastic film. Even if you don't like the story or not, it is so well done and so much passion, and there should be nothing really truly rotten about it or harshly negative about it.
I think general audiences are going to like it. And
Yeah.
I think that it actually has a good chance of penetrating the 10 Best Picture nominees this year in the Oscar Awards race, because you want those kind of more mass appeal movies to be in there. And this movie being on Netflix, this isn't a like a Jay Kelly or some of the other Netflix releases that are going to be in the awards conversation this year that will have a more niche audience. This is something
Right.
that I think a lot of people are going to watch. Netflix, I'm sure, will be promoting this a lot at release. I'm sure they'll have different themes as you're logging into your account. Maybe like kind of like a sepia tone, or they have a custom Netflix logo that starts at the beginning of the movie that's more Frankenstein themed.
Yeah.
Like they're putting a lot into this, and they know what they have with the movie. And regardless of what you and I think this movie is going to do well. Luckily, you and I think both really liked this movie, and we can dig into it a little bit more.
Yeah, I want to start off with Oscar Isaac. Um, Great actor, great person. Before we dive any further, I'll drop this gem. I love this candid photo of us two talking. This is an awesome picture. I just got this like right before I jumped on. I saw it. Like I did not have this photo until just like we jumped on here. I was like, whoa, I love this. I love candid photos. So I had to share this one. It was a great little quick conversation with him. But I really think he delivers. I haven't seen every performance of his. There might be some I've missed that are really great, but I really think this is his best performance. He's like all in, just everything he goes through as Victor. He's a man that's kind of possessed. He has his journey is all over the place. He's consumed by his own need to create. He's also fearful of the creature that Jacob Elordi plays. And I do want to give, Oscar Isaac all the praise because I think he's so great in this role. And everything he's in, he's really good. But I couldn't just take my eyes off him. And amongst other, as well as Jacob Elordi, he's awesome as the creature. But something that Oscar Isaac in this film, very commanding, and really helps tell the story. And Drew, I want you to talk about this. The storytelling in this and the way it's told is great because it's told, from different lenses. But when it is on Oscar Isaac, it's really fantastic. So, what'd you think about his performance in this?
I'll say this: I've always loved Oscar Isaac, and I feel like he was really put on my radar back with like when he worked with the Coens, with Inside Llewyn Davis, and even Ex Machina, the Alex Garland movie. And I was like, this guy is going to be a big deal, is how it felt. And then it's kind of a shame that the blockbuster projects he started to choose just were like, playing Apocalypse in the X-Men series. It didn't really work. He is in the new Star Wars trilogy, but Poe of the three is kind of like, I like him in those, but Poe just kind of has the least to do,
right,
and is the least rewarding of those. So it's just like, I feel like his attempts to get over as like a blockbuster star have been just a little bit more difficult than anticipated. That being said, like something like Dune, where he's, like a lot of his supporting roles, I think are really, really good. And in this, he really holds the movie on his shoulders for, I'd say probably about the first 40 minutes or so. It's like really a lot of him. And he's wonderful in it. And Guillermo del Toro has even said like it's the eyes. You get brilliance, you get insanity, you get love, you get passion, you get all of those in his eyes. And for playing Victor Frankenstein, it's essential. And he is so good in this, and the different layers. He even as the film goes on, and he becomes not to spoil, but maybe becomes a little bit less likable at times. You're still just, you've been with him for this journey up to this point, and you're going to stick with him. I think that it's probably the best thing that I have seen him in, maybe since Dune Part 1, where he played Leto Atreides, or but this is one of his best roles, I'd say. If this to me probably gets quickly put on the Mount Rushmore of Oscar Isaac performances.
I think easily he's a little electric in this. He really shows how versatile he is. And he is pretty much the main character of the film most of the time. And you're following him until then, until we get introduced to the creature. Jacob Elordi, the creature design was the most interesting thing, because it's a good looking Frankenstein, kind of, if you think about it, here it is right here. Like, look at the chiseled jaw. Like, right. That's the thing about the Frankenstein creature. He wanted to find some type of beauty with all what he was doing as well. He wasn't trying to put something that was unable to look at, like we're used to for the Frankenstein creature. So we have a very unique take on it, which I really thought was brilliant. And Elordi, I think, was a great pick. I forgot who was originally offered.
It was supposed to be Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, and I don't see it. First of all, Elordi is tall. I remember previously I shared a photo with him, and he's towering over me, me being 6'1". So you need someone super tall. I know Garfield is tall, but what is he, like 6'3"?
I have no idea how tall he is.
He's maybe 6'2", 6'3", but Elordi is just like basketball giant, right? But go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, with the appearance, because like Jacob Elordi is a very attractive man. Like he is, and that's, he's played Elvis. He's Elvis. And in Euphoria, he's like a football star, and some of these other projects. And here he's playing a monster. But even in Mary Shelley's text, like, he's described as having beautiful features. The monster has beautiful features, but it's just the way that it all comes together. But with his, like, the sickly colored skin and black lips and watery eyes, like, it's like horrifying despite the beauty behind it. And I feel like that comes across here.
Yeah, his take is he gives a physical and emotional performance. The physicality of his performance is amazing, and you can see all the pain and wonder, from becoming this creature. Del Toro said that he didn't want to see like the typical Frankenstein creature with patchwork monster that just I don't know, just all these pieces that don't fit together, wanted to be like a piece of art, and which is this, being born perfect but broken by the world, is what he wanted. And I just love the way he approached this. It was perfect. So what did you think? I know you talked about this, but were you happy seeing a creature design like this? Does it beat kind of like the classic stitched up bolts look that we're so used to in other versions we've seen?
Yes, and we're kind of in an age of trying to find new looks of the classic monsters. I think of even at the end of last year, we had Nosferatu come out, which is a remake of an old film, but they completely redid the look of Count Orlok with the Bill Skarsgård performance. Or even there's the Dracula movie that we saw together, Dracula spinoff. The remember the Voyage of the Demeter, that
Yeah.
movie. I don't know if anybody remembers that movie at this point. That's truly one that seemed to kind of come and go, but the Dracula creature design in that is like very sickly and crawling around and things. And then now you have Frankenstein's monster, and you're doing a version that really goes through a transformation in himself, and the way that he looks and the way that he dresses and the way that his hair grows and the way that he's styled. And um, I really liked the design of the monster, because like I have seen some memes already of like, oh, Frankenstein's monster is hot in the new movie, and like I don't know if I'd say that, because he's very,
I know
like,
someone that would say
creepy
that,
looking.
and we'll talk about her in a little bit, but I would say someone would think so a little bit in some way internally.
Like, and I get it, but he also is gross looking at the same time. Like, it's a pretty fascinating design. I think that the team behind the creature effects and Guillermo del Toro's vision, like, really kind of nailed it.
Yeah, and I love this shot of them kind of collaborating behind the scenes. Um, Jacob took this role very, very seriously. I just love the brute force of Frankenstein, right? And then also he's very soft at times. It's pretty wild, and obviously Jacob Elordi's complemented very well with Mia Goth as Elizabeth, who is Victor Frankenstein's brother, soon to be bride. And I really thought she was perfect for this world. First of all, the outfits, the dresses, the costumes, everything. I just loved how she was the most vibrant, uh, standout character in this film, and it was on purpose, obviously, and it made sense. And she saw through the creatures. I don't know. I don't want to say it, not disgust, but like just seeing something that she hasn't seen before and really understanding it's kind of like a child, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone that's new to the world, doesn't know what's going on, and then teaching him a little bit and just showing him kindness he does not know. And I think that's what this movie is about, also, is showing kindness to people.
That
Uh,
comparison to a child for the monster is so spot on. That's how it felt watching it. And as a parent, it's tough because you see Victor Frankenstein and Oscar Isaac's performance take this almost like abusive parent type
yeah.
stance when he's like frustrated that this child isn't learning as quickly as he wants to, or isn't responding the way he wants it to. And as somebody with small children that don't always do as they're told or don't always listen, like, yes, you can be frustrated as a parent. Obviously, the Oscar Isaac part takes this
It's
to a
cruel.
further.
It's very
Yeah.
cruel, I must say. But I think Mia balances that, brings this maternal yet fiercely spiritual energy to the film. And she was great to talk to when I did a roundtable with her. And she brings, so much love and passion to everything she does. Del Toro even said that Elizabeth represents Mary Shelley and himself, right? She's the film's voice of understanding and forgiveness, and just kindness in general. So I mean, I love that, and I think she's a very crucial part of the story and the storytelling. Um,
She's made for this role. She's made for this world. I mean,
yeah,
Mia Goth, obviously, she's become like the newest horror darling. Like, just put her in everything. She's got such a striking look. Um, and I really do like her. I would say that of the role, like, it's just hard because the role of Victor Frankenstein and the role of Frankenstein's monster are just such meaty roles in this story. And the role of Elizabeth is probably the most thankless of those, but I think that she brings to it a lot and has a presence. But it's I almost wish that I could have seen her get to do a little bit more. And I don't even mean that as an insult. I'm just like, there's a lot of movie here, and at times things have to be put aside to give time to the monster and to Victor.
Well, when she shows up, she's there for a reason, and it's like to kind of be like the fairy godmother at times, right? To kind of guide a situation to be better, or kind of get an understanding where Victor's at, or deal with the creature in some aspects, and just there's a reason for her popping in and out, I think. Because also obviously the focus are on the two main characters. What do you think about the narrative and splitting the movie up into different parts and just seeing it from their lens? I mean, I wasn't expecting that at all. This the whole breakup of the film.
I thought it worked really great. I don't know if you necessarily needed the title cards to even show that. Like, I feel like you could have just done it, but no, I thought it worked. I mean, for the most part, there's some stuff that happened. I don't want to give it all away, but like, there's a big chunk of the movie that's from Victor's perspective and a big chunk of the movie that's from the monster's perspective. But those are really only the two cards you get, despite there being some other things. I take it back. There's a prelude card.
Yeah, because we kind of start. I mean, it's not really a spoiler. It's just the breakup of the film, so we won't dive into it. We'll give some people to breathe and figure it out themselves, I guess you can say that. But Drew, from a craft standpoint, this movie is definitely a love letter to practical filmmaking. Del Toro hates overuse of CGI, definitely hates AI, likes practical filmmaking and real sets, tangible prosthetics, lighting, everything. And he has a great team behind him, and especially with the cinematographer that he uses every time, the composer he uses all the time. How do you think all that came together? It kind of worked in unison to you? You think so?
Yeah, I mean, well, you can see here in the image you have on screen, like the costuming and the things that they have, for the period are pretty incredible, especially the costumes that Mia Goth's character gets, Elizabeth, are some incredible dresses. And yeah, Victor's style is like pretty significant too. I do think that if you're really looking at like the awards race this year, this movie, as far as costuming and like hair and makeup goes, seems to, be a sure bet for at least nominations in some of those categories. The visual effects, the practical effects some of them are incredible. There's one early on in the movie that's a demonstration that Victor Frankenstein is doing.
Yeah.
And all of that I thought was incredible. And I've seen some interviews with Guillermo del Toro. There's one really good one from CBS Sunday Morning that aired this past weekend, where he's showing off. He's basically has like a museum set up with a lot of the props and things from this movie. And that physical prop I'm talking about is there. And I thought all that was amazing because you could tell it was real. The only time that there's any CG in the movie that really sticks out is when there's animals on screen. And
for obvious reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But everything, monster and horror related is pretty real and pretty incredible.
And can we talk about the gore, the blood, the body parts, all that? Pretty much not like real, but like they made those and they crafted all that stuff. They're not real body parts, but man, it's gross. Can we talk about the grossness of this film? Because it's pretty
the
gross.
Most anatomically correct movie in history, as Guillermo del Toro has called it.
Yeah, it's like going to to a science class or whatever. What do they call that subject when it's anatomy, biology, anatomy. Yeah, if you're looking for like subtle horror but a lot of gore, this is it. It's like a lot of grossness. There's one scene where Oscar Isaac is just cleaning after all the parts he used, and I'm like, it must smell. That must smell. I could like smell it through the screen.
This goes to show you how messed up my brain is, because I'm like, yeah, there's some gore in the movie, but there's nothing that really made me like squirm or look away.
Oh,
but now I'm thinking about some of the things in the movie, especially with the leading to the creation of the monster. And I'm like, no, I think my brain is just broken and I'm so desensitized with all the horror movies I watch, because there's some pretty grody stuff here.
Well, you're pretty much Victor Frankenstein if you're desensitized. None of it bothers you. Like it doesn't bother him going into a war zone to pick up parts. It's just wild. One actor we didn't kind of mention, which does have a really prominent role, is Christoph Waltz.
Yep.
Really good in the role, but it's for me, it just, I don't know what it is. He kind of plays not the same role every time, but it's just like his performance is always similar, but not in a bad way. His delivery is always the same. He's kind of like, oh, what is that one actor that was just in Dune? He wants more cowbell. The other
Oh, Christopher Walken.
the other Christian, yeah, they have the similar just way of delivering their lines, and it works in the films. And so
I think Christoph Waltz has a little bit more range, but I do agree with you that like when he's doing a banger performance, he is incredible and he is
yeah,
great in this, but he is for sure doing the Christoph Waltz thing at
yeah,
this point.
which is not a bad thing. This is not a way to say it's a bad thing. It's just
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's not a standout necessarily.
Did you like the sound of in the film, and the music and just everything tied together? Because I thought, like I said, the whole package is pretty darn good.
Yeah, I thought it sounded really good. There were a few times in my theater where the monster, sometimes when he was speaking, I don't know if it was just me or the sound, it was sometimes hard to make out what he was saying because it's like that deep kind of baritone.
Well, he's also learning to speak, Drew. Don't come on.
Right.
Don't
right.
tease the creature for just learning his words and you not understanding him all the time. No, yeah.
There's actually another performance I just want to point out because it's probably not somebody that we would talk about otherwise, but David Bradley is in this movie, and I think most people would know him from like in the Harry Potter movies. He plays Filch, the groundskeeper, caretaker, whatever he is, and he's in Game of Thrones. I think he plays. Is he Walder Frey in Game of Thrones? I'm pretty sure he is. Yes.
I'm not a Game of Thrones, so you wouldn't know. But yes, David Bradley does play such a unique role and a sweet role in my eyes.
I thought was really incredible. And I just want to give it, we don't have to go too much into it, but it just when he does pop up for this little arc in the movie, I thought he was really great.
Well, it helps the story. It helps you kind of not feel for the creature, but it's an arc for both of them.
It's key for sure.
And it's not a spoiler. We're gonna say a friendship. It is a friendship that was created, yeah. And it's so that's the beauty of them together is this friendship, and it's very touching and amongst more things. And yeah, everyone in this film serves a purpose and really helps move the story forward and make you feel certain things for certain characters, which is really fabulous. 2 hours and 30 minutes is the runtime. Did it bother you?
I think that's my biggest complaint about the movie. I really liked it. I do feel like I felt the length multiple times in the movie where I wouldn't say it was necessarily dragging, but the movie just felt long. I was with it the whole time. It didn't really bother me, but I do feel like that was, if there's anything that's a potential weakness of the movie, I do think it's maybe a little bit overlong. That's the only thing I worry about when it comes to the Netflix release and people who watch these movies while having distractions is like, yeah, there's some parts in this movie that are a little bit quieter and slower and drawn out. And I hope that doesn't turn people off.
Yeah, I don't think it will. And I wonder if this is like Guillermo's like final cut. Like this is like his director's cut version, which it seems like it is. I don't think there was much missing from what he wanted. And you know what he said during the press conference, but I love it. He was like, being emotional is the new punk. And I really think this movie wears that proudly. Like this movie has a lot of emotion tied to that 2 hours and 30 minutes runtime, because you go through a lot, you experience a lot, and I think it's kind of for a reason why it's that long. You're on this journey for a while, and you feel all the pains from everybody that they're going through, and you got to set everything up. That's for sure. I
guess that is kind of the Netflix MO, is like giving creators kind of the ability to do what they want with little oversight. And I'm glad that it looks like Guillermo got to make the movie that he wanted to make. And I'm not saying that there should be some sort of studio interference, but like if there was any note to give, it'd be maybe trim it down a little bit, but I'm not really complaining about it. Like that's a nitpicky thing.
Yeah. Do you think this is the best version of Shelley's story to be ever put on screen? And if so, you think anyone can ever surpass it?
I feel like I can't answer that as effectively as somebody who has truly seen every single adaptation of Frankenstein. But that being said, this does seem pretty definitive. Like, obviously, Boris Karloff is always going to be a presence and going to be referred to and is iconic, but this as a modern interpretation is very good. Like, I think it's going to be remembered. I don't think this is going to fall into some sort of obscurity.
I don't think anyone. I think everyone going forward are going to be scared to put their own stamp on the story, because I think Guillermo del Toro did such a good job with this, and I don't see a reason why we would have to revisit this exact story. But we have The Bride coming up next year,
Which I'm really excited for.
Which
I
I'm
think it
not
looks
sure the
awesome.
exact take of it. I haven't dived too deep into what that's going to be like, and I swear I've heard maybe another project that's in this world that might be coming.
I'm
But
trying to see what's the last. I mean, Frankenstein has appeared in so much media, you know, from like the Hotel Transylvania series, you know, things. I'm just thinking of things recently, but I'm trying to think like what's the most recent, just straight up adaptation of Frankenstein? Is
there
it
was one in 2000 something.
when was the Kenneth Branagh movie? Because that was a thing.
What was the
I'm
one from the
looking
90s?
here.
Was it one with Robert De Niro? I remember that one.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, that was a double VHS tape. That was a long one too.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was 1994. That's the one you're
I
talking
remember
about with Robert De Niro.
his look as Frankenstein was very different too, was it not? It wasn't like your typical, if I recall.
Yeah, but I feel like this movie, not obscurity. I wouldn't say that, man. See, it's 123 minutes, so this movie's longer.
Yeah, but still, for back then, that was a double VHS or Blockbuster, I believe.
It's a 42% on Rotten Tomatoes, apparently. Consensus: ambitious and visually striking, but overwrought and lack of scares. A tonally inconsistent
Lack of
experience.
scares. I didn't know these movies were for scares, but
Frankenstein's not really a scary story. I mean, there are parts of this movie that I thought not scary, but like some of the stuff in Victor Frankenstein's castle and experiments and things are like not outright scary, not going to make you jump, but they are striking.
yeah. There's a couple, maybe a couple, but I really think, it's somewhat haunting, but the movie is more like heavy, profoundly human. It's more on that side of the storytelling. It's not a straight up horror, obviously. And I really think it's the best version of the Shelley story put out there. That's for sure. If y'all are planning to see this in theaters, go now. It hits Netflix. I don't know the exact date. I think it's November 7th, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere around there. I thought it was pretty soon. If you can pull that up.
This pulled up, but I don't. Let me see here.
Real quick. I will look this up to confirm, but I have that date.
Yeah, November 7th. Yeah,
see, that's embedded in my head. November 7th, streaming on Netflix. It's Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Let us know what you thought. Does it electrify your soul? Did it drag? Tell us your thoughts. Make sure you follow us on Letterboxd. Drew and I are both on there. Follow us on social media. Check out nerdtropolis.com. I'm throwing everything out there y'all need to check out because we have a lot of great stuff, a lot of reviews, a lot of interviews, a lot of fun video content and movie talk coming your way. But once again, I am Sean Tajipour, the mayor.
I just want to say, I'm sorry, Sean. I just want to say,
final word from Drew.
I understand that Netflix subscriptions are not getting any cheaper.
Oh, no,
I know from experience, trust me, I am a subscriber. I know how much we're all shelling out per month for Netflix. And this movie is going to come to Netflix via your subscription on November 7th. That being said, if you're able to, and if you have the access, and there is a theater near you showing this movie, do yourself a favor, please, and go see this on a big screen. Despite being made for Netflix, on the big screen is how it was made to be seen.
It's made for theaters, then to Netflix.
Yes. Do yourself a favor. If not, I still think you're going to find things to enjoy about this watching it at home when it is released on Netflix. But just if you can, do it. You won't be upset. I don't think you'll be upset.
If you don't see it, Drew's gonna show up at your your door on Halloween and drag you to go watch this in theaters. We both saw it in theaters. Both highly recommend it. But yeah,
I did almost try to do a bit at the beginning of this episode where the only thing I was going to be able to say for a long time was Sean. But I did not think that would make for very good podcasting, so I refrained.
Well, I don't think most of the audience will get it until they watch this movie too.
That's fair.
That is it for this episode of the Moviegoers Society. Once again, I'm Sean Tarcher, the mayor of Nerdtropolis.
And I'm Drew Munhausen, the professional media and movie mastermind.
And we better see you at the movies.